Good evening. Welcome to our February board meeting. We appreciate everybody's attendance. I call this meeting of the Bastrop Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Texas Pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Remain standing, please. Is Pastor Bond with us? Please come forward, sir. He's going to offer a prayer tonight. Thank you for being here.
Would you bow with me, please? Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening to seek your counsel, to seek your wisdom as decisions are made that will affect students and parents and families across this district. Father, we thank you for the students that are here tonight to be honored for achievements that they have done, for their hard work, and for the character that they show. We thank you for the men and women who serve on our school board and serve as teachers and educators and principals and superintendents, that they watch over our children, keeping them safe and providing a place for them to learn. Thank you again, Lord, for the blessings that you have bestowed upon us, and be with us throughout this proceeding. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Pastor Bond. Tonight's one of our more exciting meetings because we've got lots of student recognition while we're all here. But before we get to that, I want to call up Avery Coy. Avery is going to speak on our character education trait for February, which is justice. A little bit about Avery. She's an 8th grader at the middle school, Bastrop Middle School. She'll be speaking to us on justice. She's involved in athletics, UIL, 4-H club, volleyball, cheerleading, and is a member of the National Junior Honor Society and Student Council. Avery's parents are Jackie and Nathan Coy, and Jackie's been a long-time employee of the district. We appreciate you being here. Okay, Avery.
Justice is a word that is commonly used. Most people would associate it with law and courts, as if to say justice has been served. But when asked what justice means, what would you say? The dictionary definition of justice is the quality of being just or fair. To me, justice is one of the most important characteristics a person can have. Justice is a more complex way of saying fairness. Since the very beginning of time, there have always been people fighting for justice among everyone. Between the Native Americans, slaves, Jews, everything has been done so far for every human to be treated fairly, and people will continue to fight for justice. The goal of justice is not that it will create peace and perfection, but that people will be not treated, categorized, and they will be treated regarding their race, religion, etc. People need to be treated according to their behavior and attitude. Justice is sometimes misinterpreted to meaning equality and always doing the right thing. But even if you have the quality of justice, it doesn't mean that you treat everyone the same. It means that you treat people fair. Justice is a very simple concept whenever everybody treats each other in a kind way, but in life, not everyone will act the way they should, so justice becomes a little bit more complex. Sometimes it's hard for people to determine what's fair and what's not fair. Like, for example, if someone hits you in the face, what is the fair thing to do? Hit them back, or is it better to ignore it and go on with your life? Different people think different things about what is the fairest thing to do. Justice is being able to be blindfolded and hear two people explain an issue, and then you determining your decision not based on their color, appearance, or anything else of that category, but to figure out the fair repercussions for that problem. By picking sides, that would also create an issue because then you would favor the person that you like better. That is why whenever there is a case in the court, a jury is elected that has no connections whatsoever with the people involved. Because each case is different and has all different factors, they cannot be treated the same, and it's important to serve justice to all the people. If our society was perfect, then justice would go very smoothly and everybody would be treated fair and respectfully. But because we are not perfect, we must remember to try our hardest to act in a way that won't put anybody down because of a difference they have. The golden rule is that to treat others the way that you want to be treated. It ties into justice because if you expect people to treat you well, you need to treat them well because that's only fair. Justice is one of the most challenging characteristics because there is not one person to tell you what is fair or not. Each circumstance has different factors that will determine the outcome. Like Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere."
All right, very good.
Thank you, Avery. That was great. Steve, I'll let you introduce your student advisory.
All right, great. Thank you. Mr. Allen, we're really pleased, as you said at the beginning of the meeting when we kicked off, that it's an exciting meeting mainly because we get to recognize a lot of students tonight, and that's our favorite thing to do because that's what we're here for, is for their benefit. So we start off each regular meeting by introducing students who are representing the student advisory councils at both high schools. I see that unfortunately one of our students wasn't able to be here tonight. I know he's got a new job. He was telling me the other day, so maybe he's at work. But we do have one of our student advisory council members here from Bastrop High School, Laura Egger. She's a Bastrop High School junior. And Laura also has the distinction of being an exchange student, right, Laura? And from Germany? Yes. Yes. And so we want to welcome Laura not only to the board meeting tonight, but also to BHS and to Bastrop ISD and to our country from Germany. We're going to go on with recognitions. We've got a lot tonight, as we said. We're going to start off. We're thrilled and honored to have Councilman Doc Jackson with us tonight, and he is going to present a proclamation by the City of Bastrop for Black History Month. Doc?
Thank you, Mr. Murray. It's indeed an honor to be here. I don't get a chance to come to many of your meetings, and so I'm really glad to see you have much better attendance than we have at our city council meetings. I am here on behalf of the mayor and council to bring you a Black History Proclamation. It's something that I've celebrated most of my life, and it's something that I'm very honored to be able to read to you tonight. It is a proclamation. It's not only Black History Month, but it's all African American history is American history. And so we're going to, I'm going to read this for you, and I have copies for some of the campuses if they need them. I know you've done some of the programming already, but I have some extra copies for them if they'd like to have them for presentations or just to have. Our city secretary kind of decorated them and made them really kind of look nice. You may have a copy of them in your files, but to make them really look nice this year. But it's something we try to do each year to recognize African American or Black History Month. So, February 1st to 28th, 2014 proclamation. African Americans have played a central role in our nation's history, but for too long, historians ignored or glossed over their contributions and the injustices they have suffered. The origins of Black History Month can be traced to the scholar Carter G. Woodson, who in 1926 conceived a yearly celebration to help rectify the omission of African Americans from history books. Today, the observance of Black History Month throughout the United States stands as a testament to the success of Woodson's project, an example of how we can work together to make the teaching of history more honest also. And whereas the theme of Black History Month is recognition of civil rights in America, we pay tribute to the heroes of African Americans who we remember the courage that they led activists to defy the injustices that they have suffered and how they continue to carry forward the unyielding hope that guided a movement toward justice. Facing terrible odds, they worked tirelessly to achieve full equality with other citizens, and this month we celebrate their bravery, toil, and sacrifice on this long road to justice. Therefore, the members of the Bastrop City Council and the mayor encourage all residents, business owners, and visitors to join us in celebrating Black History Month with the appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. And this has been signed by the mayor the Honorable Mayor Terry Orr from the City of Bastrop to recognize the month of February 2014 as Black History Month. And he signed it and affixed our seal. So, as I said, I have copies which I'll give to Mr. Williams to give to the others or whoever I need to present them to.
You present it to Mr. Martin.
Oh, okay. All right. Here's a folder.
Thanks,
So you can
Doctor.
get them out to the schools. I need to take 3 of them for 3 churches that have requested them, but the others, if you need more, just let me know.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Doc. As we said, we're going to recognize a lot of students tonight, and that's very exciting. We're going to have some help by our principals. Ms. Oliveros, if you come forward. You have several students to recognize tonight, and we're going to start off with the distinction of a student who has been accepted into the United States Naval Academy.
That's right, yes. This is a first for Cedar Creek High School. Good evening, board members and Mr. Murray. This is Samantha Sharp, and her parents are here with her tonight. I want to tell you a little bit about Sam. Sam embodies character, strength, determination, academic excellence, and integrity. She exudes confidence in everything that she does, and she has taken the mantle of leadership at Cedar Creek High School and in our community. Sam is our first student at Cedar Creek High School to be accepted into a military service academy, and we are certain she will make an excellent representative and make us all proud. We're extremely proud of Sam, and we wish to congratulate her once again on her appointment to the U.S. Naval Academy. So I want to let Sam tell you just really briefly what she wants to do now that she has been appointed to the U.S. Naval Academy.
Just recently, they have started to allow students to major in a nuclear engineering program. The class of 2017 will be the first class that can do that, so I'll be the second class that will be able to major in it. When I graduate, I would like to go to the Nuclear Power School in California, and then I will go into the Nuclear Surface Warfare Officer program and possibly subsurface, depending on where the Navy wants me to be. I plan on making a career out of it, but you know, we never know what things are going to be like, but I plan on making a career out of it. So just advancing in the nuclear field and nuclear power of the Navy.
Outstanding.
Awesome.
Outstanding. Once again, congratulations, Samantha. Ms. Oliveros, I believe we also have a student you want to recognize for their prowess in art.
Yes. So once again, Mr. Murray, board members, let me introduce you to Leslie Howell. This is Leslie. She's a senior with us at Cedar Creek High School. Leslie placed in the top 25 in the San Antonio Western Art Contest a couple of months ago. And her art was auctioned in the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo Art Fest. And Leslie was awarded a scholarship of $12,212 and pending more from that based on business contributions, is that correct? And add-ons. Add-ons, yes. So this is her artwork right here behind you so that everyone can see. Leslie is a talented artist, and we're so excited for her. This is Leslie Howell. And Leslie, do you want to tell them a little bit about what you're going to do?
Hello. After high school, I am planning on going to ACC to get my basics, so whenever I do go to college, it'll be easier and I'll enjoy it more. I plan to go to Tarleton because obviously I like horses, and so I kind of want to work with their equine program and build on from there and learn based upon animal science and have equine science as my sub-major.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Oliveros, and again, congratulations. If we could have Mr. Kutcher and Mr. Estes come forward, we're going to have some special recognition for Cedar Creek High School and Bastrop High School band students who had advanced to the state UIL contest.
good evening. Thank you for having us and for honoring all of our students. Jordan Pham, if you would come forward. Jordan is our only student from Cedar Creek High School that is advancing to state. And Jordan is quite special in his talents. Jordan he's played bass drum, which I'm sure you're very familiar with. He has played mallets in our front ensemble. He plays piano, he plays bassoon, and he plays the guitar. And he advanced to state on both the bassoon and the guitar. And so if you're not familiar, in order to advance to state, and Mr. Estes will have his students as well, they have to play the highest level, which is a Class 1 solo, and from memory. And so he did both of those on both instruments. So we're extremely proud of Jordan. He's extremely talented, works very, very hard, and does a phenomenal job and is just unrelenting in his work ethic. So very proud of Jordan.
Good evening, everybody. I'm so glad it's the first time in my career that I've had a board ask students to come to like this. This is just fantastic. We had 25 students advance this year. Last year we had 5. And so I'm very, very proud of the hard work these kids have done. It took about 2 months to get all of it together. And so we will quickly go through the list. We had 3 students advance on solos, and on solos, of course, like he said, they have to be memorized. Gregory LeBlanc, come on up. Okay, on a trumpet solo. Jackson Estes on a trumpet solo. And David Estes on a French horn solo. Thank you, guys. And then we had 2 trumpet trios. Vicky couldn't make it tonight. She's working. Vicky Reyes and Devin Trussell and Melissa Napolitano. Come on up, girls. All right. Are we good? All right, we're good. Then we had another trumpet trio: Jackson Estes, Gregory LeBlanc, and Matthew Hopper. All right. Then we had a trombone trio of Eric Singelman, Daryl Murray, and Ben Underwood. I think Daryl had to work tonight. Face that way. Look pretty. All right. Thank you, guys. We had a saxophone quartet made up of Seth Bissett, Cameron Flores, Matthew Smith, and Tyler Hastings. And I think Matthew and Tyler are here on their behalf tonight. All right. Then the 2 larger groups, we'll start with the brass choir. Johnny Mondragon, Logan Shepherdson, Angelina Chiaffi. Okay, Eric Singelman, Julio Solis, and Chrysalis Clark. Look that way, guys. Look over there. You look over here, yeah, there we go. All right. And then the last large group is a clarinet choir made up of 7 students: Elizabeth Atterbury, Tasha Buchanan, Mika Kopecki, Sarah Minton, Otzidi Hernandez, David Estes, and Christopher Stradling. I think I did them in opposite order up there, as you can tell. as you might have noticed, some of the kids are in workout gear. They've been, Winter Guard right now is going on in the band hall, and these kids have got to get back. We got one-act play kids that have got to get back. So please excuse us for having to leave the meeting tonight, but I can't tell you how much it means to us for you guys to have us come out here tonight. We really do appreciate it. And if you ever need the band for anything, we got a jazz band. We'd love to play for anything you guys got going on in town.
Congratulations to all our students and to our band directors for all their great work. Mr. Kutcher, I really appreciate you bringing up my bass drum performance at Convocation. If anybody was there, I've set the bass drum back at least 2 or 3 centuries. Thanks, I appreciate that. And then John Korb, we have some recognition, Bastrop ISD employees. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. Thank you, members of the board. This past year, the tech department, with leadership from its IT coordinator, Randy Sharp, and our admins, have put a real emphasis on professional growth and development of our employees. And we have 2 employees tonight that have exemplified that goal in our department. I'd like to ask Andrew Ferranti and Richard Salazar to come forward. So, Andrew and Richard have both received the Cisco Certified Network Associate in the area of routing and switching. So a lot of y'all look at me and I say, what does that mean? And y'all say, what does that mean? So to give you kind of an idea what that means, in the field of IT, Cisco is kind of the standard that people shoot for. When they see a Cisco certified individual, they know that they're a competent individual, that they're knowledgeable, and that they're going to be able to function as a valued member of their team. So for our infrastructure department to have this CCNA certification for routing and switching for our team members is a big step for us. These guys went through a whole lot to get through there. They did weeks of studying. They had a boot camp of 6 days, 12 to 16-hour days of studying in order to get just a wealth of information they had to absorb in order to pass this certification test. I think Richard called me on day 5 and said, my brain can't hold anymore. I'm going to have to put something else, forget something in order to put anything else in there. So tonight we're going to go ahead and award them, and we're going to give them some frames to hold their certifications. I'd also like to add that Andrew, our infrastructure admin, went a little step further. He got his CCNA security certification, so he gets another one to go along with this one. This security certificate it really reinforces that our district has a commitment to maintaining security of our data, our student data, our employee data, and it really shows that Andrew is committed to making that happen. So just give them all a hand, guys. This is really a big step for our infrastructure department. We're very proud of them.
You're not favoring one over the other.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate all your hard work. Mr. Allen?
Now we're going to move to our open forums section. We have 2 speakers tonight. Each will be given 3 minutes. First, I'd like to call up Rebecca Bennett. She is going to speak on the survey of the employee satisfaction.
Good evening.
Evening.
Thank you for the opportunity to present to you the comprehensive results of the survey of employee satisfaction. Our purpose is to identify what is working well in BISD and what needs improvement. I hope that you will take the time to read the entire document. The survey represents the voice of the people closest to the work of the BISD mission to prepare students for the future. The Bastrop Federation of Teachers looks forward to working in cooperation with BISD in improving working conditions especially employee workload for all employees in the BISD. Thank you.
Thank you.
How many people participated? Is that on here? Because sometimes we have a 30% participation rate.
That's Rebecca.
Ms. Bennett, I had one question on, usually there's a participation rate, you know, based on,
It was, I believe, 221 responses.
It's on that front page.
okay, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is.
It's down a little bit from last year.
And this went out to all employees in the district or just teachers?
No, all employees.
Okay. So 200 and some odd responses out of a possible 1,100? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Hollingsworth, I want to share the good news about the librarians.
Yes.
Right.
First of all, I just want to thank you all so much for your time and dedication to our children and their future. Your efforts are so appreciated. We just really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to share some great news. You have a green piece of paper here. This year, as you probably know, the libraries were taken out of the rotation. I just wanted to share a few things. Probably the most impactful on our student success is time that librarians have to coordinate and plan with teachers. One of the wonderful things about C-Scope is it's a very, very rich curriculum. There are a lot of different resources, but teachers just don't have the time to research those and pull those. And so that's one of the things I've been able to do is I have time to take that off of their plates, and I'm able to do that research for them. Another fabulous thing is that pre-kindergarten, those are our children who come to school for language issues or because of their financial status. Those are our really at-risk children. They're able now to come to the library. Just at Cedar Creek alone, we have over 100 pre-K children who now get to come to the library because there's time for them in the day. And probably the last thing would just be open times in the library for research. We have about a 45-minute time every single day that teachers, classroom teachers, gifted and talented teachers can come and sign up with their children so that I can do research with them, we can do collaboration. And so those are just a few of the great things that have happened since we've been out of the rotation. I just want to thank you all so much for being a part of that decision, and thank you all as well. Thank you. And lastly, I have an invitation. You should have gotten an invitation to come and read to our class on Dr. Seuss Day. And many of you have an invitation as well. And I just have not heard back from many of you. Yes, and you have a chance to redeem yourself, perhaps a costume.
I said I would read, Brianna.
Again, just thank you so much. Thank you just so much for your time and your efforts on behalf of our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Between the red and white tights.
Thank you.
That concludes our open forum. Now we are going to head to the superintendent's reports.
Tessie?
My report is for information.
Regarding the bilingual and ESL education annual program report. Okay. And then A2 would be counseling services update by Janie and Camille. Is this it?
It is.
I was raised in a generation where I waited at the front door too for a gentleman to open that for me, so I really appreciate that. No pressure. Do good. And do I have a clicker? Thank you, Mr.
Did you get a certification?
Yeah, I didn't go get my technology certification. Thank you, Ms. Blue.
Thank you, Mr. Gideon. Thank you, Donald. Good evening. Mrs. Pollard and I wanted to spend just a few moments with you this evening and give you an update on counseling services. Our BISD counseling staff serves as a resource to our students and families in a very, very wide array of areas. They have really, really big shoulders on our campuses. They serve in the areas of academics, in student behavior, and of course, social and emotional concerns of our students. They're a resource to campus administration as an effective member of our campus's principals teams, and on all of our campuses, they serve as a very, very integral part on decision makings that have to do with our students. They partner in monitoring the academic progress of each student. They also assist in assessing what the students' needs are and when they are having trouble coping with factors that are going to interfere with their student performance. They're a resource to the district in knowledge of outside resources. That's one of the things that they do very, very well, is that they're always readily available to help us with what the kiddos need if we need to call on outside resources. They are advocates for students and their families in many areas, and they're very effective in their network of experts in BISD among themselves. We utilize some outside resources, communities in schools, which you're familiar with. They do individual and group counseling in a variety of subjects. We also have a newly signed MOU with a group called Connections, and they serve in the areas that you see up on your screen: crisis intervention, anger management, suicide, anxiety, drug and alcohol use, runaways, and truancy. So they are available for any campus principal to call upon to service kiddos both in a group and in an individual setting. So they're a great help to us at all as well. So our counseling staff is available for academic counseling. They do a lot of that. They do scheduling of classes with dual credit and AP, graduation plans, and that is not a new thing, but it's a great emphasis with House Bill 5. So they'll be working quite a bit with graduation plans. Assessments as well as our state assessment. They work with the AP exam, SAT, ACT, and of course our STAR and end of course. They also are a great help for us with drug, alcohol, social, and emotional counseling. They serve as transitional services from Gateway to our home campus, and also with our drug and alcohol kiddos that have been involved in those kind of offenses at Gateway. The campus counselors then take those kiddos as they return to their campus and work with them. So that's a very integral part of what we do. Some of them in many, many different areas serve as staff development to instructional staff and to parents. Our area of focus that I want to highlight on this slide is our transitional services. In September, Mrs. Pollard and I met with all campus counselors in the secondary realm, so our middle school and our high school. We met with the principals and the counselors, and we took a look at those rosters of kiddos that had been involved in specific drug and alcohol counseling, and transitioned that over to the campus counselors. We revisited that in October to be sure that all of those kids had been met with their counselor. We've revisited again in the last counselors meeting that we had, just to be sure that those kiddos were indeed taken care of. We want to thank the board for helping us increase our personnel with our counseling staff. We have a counselor at every campus at K-4, counselor and a half at 5 and 6, and then 2 counselors each at the middle school campuses. At BHS and CCHS, we have 4 counselors at each campus. BHS has communities and schools that works with them to answer those needs of social and emotional concerns of our kiddos, and CCHS has a social worker. Gateway also has their own counselor. To support the counseling staff in our district, they have monthly meetings with Ms. Pollard, and she gives them a lot of information, and Ms. Pollard and I just returned from the assessment conference, and I guarantee there will be more coming, especially with House Bill 5. They also get a lot of information from directors, credit by exam, 504, career and tech, so they get a lot of information from us as well, and then they're a part of our district initiatives like Drop by Drop, our diversity training. They have time in their meetings for collaboration and discussion among themselves, and of course some question and answers that they want to discuss and bring forth to Mrs. Pollard during those meetings. They're an integral part of each campus team. They are very, very watchful in monitoring the student performance. That's the end goal, is the academic performance and the achievement of all of our students. They look for specific outside influences that might be interfering with student performance and academic performance. Where appropriate, they work with the students to assist them in coping with any kind of difficulties that are interfering with their academic progress. They work to the benefit of each student on their campus. We greatly appreciate our counseling staff. They're a great part of a team that functions with the administration on each campus. So we're glad to have them. They do a lot for us. Any questions?
When do students get to visit with their counselor? Before, after school, during lunch?
Just almost at any time when they're available, and before school, after school, lunchtime, is on a walk-in basis, and then they can also schedule time with their counselor.
Do the counselors reach out to the kids, or is it a situation where if you want to see a counselor, you need to, you need to go make an appointment, or you need to go by and check their availability, or is it where the counselor says, okay, I'm going to make sure that I talk to X amount of children per?
Yes, to both. For instance, in our transitional services, it was a very, very specific process where counselors reached out to a group of students that we specified that they needed to pull them in, work with them, assess how they're doing in various ways. How are you adjusting back in campus? So there is I go seek you out, but then there's also a way that kiddos can drop by and visit with counselors.
And connections, is that it's a resource that the counselors can call for additional counselors
and
to come
principal,
in to
yes.
visit? Do they come on site, or?
Yes, they come to the site. They come to the site. They do group and individual counseling and cover a pretty wide array of anything that the principal or the counseling team may see fit
And
that
those,
will specifically answer a need for a kiddo.
right. Are those services unlimited?
They are. Okay. They are, and they are free.
There we go.
It's a nice thing.
In view of House Bill 5, we increased the counselors before we were aware of the conditions of House Bill 5.
Yes, sir.
Do we have enough counselors in view of what House Bill 5 is going to give us, demand of us?
Do you want to answer that, Ms. Pollard, since we just came out of House Bill 5 sessions?
I would think it would depend on who you asked. But without a doubt, the pre-planning to be able to appropriately serve the middle school and high school, because that's where the bulk of the new is going to be, I believe that we have accommodated and will continue to reevaluate that as we move forward.
Well, if there's any doubt, our graduation rate could use some improvement, and that would be reflected on the number of counselors we have.
We are currently in the middle of looking at several programs that will support the counselors. We currently use career cruising, and there are some that Mr. Hudson and I have been looking at. It's called Naviance. It's a little more expensive program, but it does a lot of the work with students that would decrease the time that counselors might have to do to input certain information. We're looking at that. And at the assessment conference today, we found out about a third program, which is called a bridge program. So we plan to move forward in planning for the 2014-15 school year with a program that supports from 8th grade, where you register, you get into the system, and then it keeps track to where if a kid puts a pathway through for a certain endorsement, it actually tracks if they're on target, and if they fail that class, it might mark it as a failure, or it might mark it as passing, but the time that it may save. So in our department, we're looking, and we will involve the middle school and high school principals in making that decision to go forward to Sandra and to Barry as far as a cost that might be incurred from a program that supports the counselors, because it's two counselors at the middle school dealing with 400 8th graders to get registered to move into 9th grade, as well as the high school counselors coming down to support. We do have a meeting Thursday night for any of you that want to come at BMS, and they'll be registering 8th grade and getting information, and Monday night on the 24th we'll be doing the same thing at CCMS.
Big
We'll
job.
adjust as we see fit with this House Bill 5. If we need more counselors, we take that into consideration.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if if we were dealing with widgets, I could easily buy into giving the counselors a tool that would help sort out and make the job easier. We're dealing with individuals, so I would caution you, you know, some kids need a click in the button, some of them need praise, and you don't get that out of technology.
The technology would be a tool to keep up with that so that if you have transition of counselors, it doesn't disappear somewhere. It would not be at all the replacement of counseling between the counselors.
Let's not make a bad trade-off.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll now move on to our consent agenda.
1 minute. I got a couple questions for Sandra on the financial report.
Okay.
We're running 1% behind last year's revenue collection on delinquent taxes. Any reason?
On delinquent taxes?
Or on back taxes? In your narrative.
That's actually on current taxes.
Current taxes.
And that basically is typically the reason, and I didn't call the county this time, but a lot of times they don't get all the 31st deposits processed until that week after, because all the taxes come in on the 31st of January, because that's when they're due before they go delinquent. So it just takes time to get those processed. So you'll see next month, and it'll be even as far as, I'm sure it'll be even from what we had last year. It's just a processing time on getting those taxes processed, because they get tons of mail.
If there are no more questions for personnel or financial, we want to move to the consent agenda. Nobody wants to pull any items off the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
A second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda, A through G. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move to action item 4A. Ms. Callahan.
This is simply a recommendation from the board for us to apply for low attendance waiver. We're going to apply for October 31st when we had the floods, because our attendance, as you can see on my memo, was 80.56. And of course, on the January 28th ICE day, it was at 69.21. So once the board approves to file for a waiver, we'll submit that to TEA with probably many schools in our area, and those should get approved. The good news about that is if those waivers are approved, those 2 days get knocked out of our ADA calculations, so that should increase our ADA overall. So, and our ADA, if you noticed on my budget amendment, is higher than, of course, I budgeted, so we're on a good track because our enrollment's higher than we budgeted as well. So that's all good news. So I should.
What happened in December?
I'm sorry?
What happened in December? Our ADA in December.
Oh.
The flu was really heavy in December.
Okay. All right. So I recommend the board approve the following of an attendance waiver for low attendance.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the low attendance day waiver requested for TEA. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. We'll move to Ms. Pollard.
I also, good evening, board and Mr. Murray. I also have, my first request would be for you to look at the waivers that we are asking the board to approve that have to do with the modified schedule state assessment testing waiver, which allows the opportunity on state assessment days to modify the schedule. So accommodating for students to be able to have a good testing environment. The second one is what our staff development general waiver is, and we've been doing that for quite a long time before I came as well, and that just allows for us to have 3 additional staff days in lieu of student days, and so that would give us a total of 10. And then the third one has to do with the teacher data portal. And if we use something like Eduphoria, in addition to what the state provides, we have to be able to have the board be aware of that, and that we have to assure that the what it provides is the same thing that is mandated from the state portal. So I would recommend that the board
approve the filing of the modified schedule state assessment testing waiver, the staff development days waiver, and the teacher data portal of the Texas Assessment Management System if there are no questions.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the application for expedited and general state waivers as presented. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. We'll move on to the school calendar.
The second item on the agenda is for the board to consider to approve the 2014-15 school calendar. Some things I would like you to keep in mind as we created it is that the District Education Improvement Committee, which is the DEIC committee, which is comprised of community members, parents, administration, and teachers, and that's their job to put it together, and they basically start with a blank calendar. Kathy Cothran, she works with the intermediate and the elementary. Nancy Roll works with middle and high school. They create 2 calendars from scratch with what their needs of the district are. The representatives are really getting good at bringing emails. They do a nice job of homework ahead of time, and they go through those emails and make sure that everything that has been asked of them as the representative is discussed and put into place as they put a calendar together. Then we actually take the 2 calendars and we share them with principals, and they were shared with every campus, and the faculty had input and voted on which one they preferred. And then the last step is it goes to Mr. Murray's Superintendent's Council, and we discuss and we look at the big picture beyond the pieces that the committees and the different groups have provided. Some key things that are challenging for us as we always create the calendar is that we are not allowed to start until the 4th Monday of the month, and that's not our option. That it was put in place many years ago from business people in the community in the state of Texas, because when I taught, which was a long time ago, and we started the 1st of August, they lobbied and they said, you are killing our profits by shortening the summer, and so for many, many years we have not been able to start until it is actually in the TEC code that we are not allowed to do so. The other thing is that we have a new teacher at the beginning of the year, and as you see on the calendar presented before you, we have a lot of testing windows that are blocked out that we have to be here for. In lieu of the already used both of our bad weather days, we looked at maybe looking differently instead of putting them at the end of the year. But as you see, we try to wait till the end of February because we can still have bad weather until the end of February. But once you get into that schedule, you get into a very heavy testing schedule as well as spring break. And so to build those days in the spring with the heavy testing, it's almost impossible. We used to do the day after Easter as a bad weather day, but it's the day before testing starts now, and for kids not to be here the day before testing, you're putting them at risk for not having the opportunity. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to entertain those at this time regarding our proposed 14-15 school calendar.
Bad weather day, the last day, it's Friday. Graduation Thursday night. Obviously, the seniors aren't coming to school Friday. Cedar Creek.
For Cedar Creek, that is correct.
They're not.
That is correct.
I probably wouldn't go. And those are short days too, right? Early release days. Yes.
For the high schools, the last 2 days are early release for testing schedule.
Final exam schedule.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
I recommend that the board approve the proposed 2014-15 BISD school calendar as presented.
We moved and seconded to approve the school calendar for 2014-15 school year as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, and I also want to thank the staff for doing such a nice job of really caring about a quality calendar, and I thank the school board.
Thanks, Janie. James, before you move on, if I can just say, because it was brought up by Janie, that it's just really just a reference to some people who are working behind the scenes with bad weather days. I want to thank Henry and the folks from Gold Star and your folks in the maintenance department who get up wee hours in the morning when we get the alarm from the Austin media that we're going to have the blizzard of 2014 again and again and again. So I appreciate you going out and early in the morning and checking things out for us and doing that for several hours each of those days. It happens several times this year, as everybody knows. But they are unsung heroes. They go out there and spend extra time for us. We appreciate it.
That's why he has a Jeep.
All right. I knew there was a good reason for that.
Also want to thank Janie for leading the meeting the other night with discussions on House Bill 5. It's really good to see the business community starting to come together, supporting the district, and so I wanted to thank you for that. Board, do we have any questions for Laura? She's been kind of quiet. Before we
She's been waiting for questions.
Move on, we need to have a question or two. She's exchange student from Germany, junior. What's the biggest difference between where you were in school and where you are now?
I would say the whole school system is completely different. I don't know, when I just look my schedule, that it's every day the same. In Germany, on my school, we had, like, I graduated with 12 different classes because we had 12 different classes per week. And then every day is changing, and the teachers coming to our classroom, so we stay in one class. I was with 5 years with one class, and yeah.
Wow.
So which do you like better?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Diplomatic answer.
School, but I like it here better than in Germany right now, so I don't want to leave.
Probably like the weather a little better? Yeah.
Are you going to graduate here, or are you going to go back and graduate over there?
No, I'm leaving in June. I'm just here for 1 year, so
What are you going to do when you graduate?
I have to repeat this year and 2 more years of high school, and then I will go to college. I don't know where, but I'm planning on moving away from my city, maybe South Germany, or maybe I come back. I don't know. I want to go to college, and then I think about to study something with English and chemistry.
Great.
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 Glad to have you.
President, I wanted to say that Laura's very talented theater person too, not only in front of the house, but she actually was an assistant director in the recent musical and brings her talent naturally. And so I had the opportunity to see her in Almost Maine in the fall, an excellent show that the DHS staff did. She's involved in theater in a lot of different ways and did an awesome job. One of the best productions overall of a high school musical I've seen. So she's quite talented.
And we love to hear her talk.
Thank you for being here, Laura.
Thank you.
The board is now going to convene in closed session to discuss the following items posted on our agenda this evening by the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551.074.
Where are we? 1, training room 1, briefly. Very briefly.
Okay, I'll let the board know